My name is Tomer. I'm captain of Argo, 112-foot schooner, 2-mast, 12 students, 7 staff, and we're currently sailing towards Mauritius. We just recently lost our propeller. It's been a few days that we're sailing only with the wind power, and we're making good way to Mauritius. In the meantime, our office in Sarasota started to activate assets around the world in order to have a new propeller and shaft machine in Mauritius so we can install it there. Travis, our managing operation director, is already flying with a propeller in his luggage to meet us there in Mauritius, make sure that the installation is done properly. The way it's going to work, we need to take the shaft out of the hull between the engine and the rudder, and there's not enough space for the shaft. So one way is to take the engine out, very hard work. Another way is to turn the rudder, drill a hole through it so a new shaft can come in. Remember, at the moment the shaft and propeller are broken, so we take this one out and then we put a new shaft through the rudder into the engine and connect here a new propeller. Let's see how the life on board has changed in the last 7 days, and also how we lift Argo out of the water, install a new propeller, and all the activities that we plan for the students during this time.
So far, we've just continued making our way to Mauritius, but only under the power of our sails, and we've done more sail handling like in the 1800s.
We're attempting our first ever reef under sail on this program. It's experimental, it's exciting, cutting edge, good stuff. All right, go ahead and ease sheet, ease boom bang. Sorry, shake and sheet. Scratch that from the record. Shake and sheet, ease boom bang. Hey, take it down off. Taking it.
How has life changed since losing the propeller a few days ago?
It's definitely gotten a lot slower, I feel like. We're doing like 2 to 3 knots today. But I feel like we don't have to worry about rocking the propeller when we're doing lines, so we kind of just let them drop in the water sometimes. There's a lot more sail handling, which I think is fun because this is what we signed up for. Like today on the 8 to 12, I probably handled sails for like 2 to 3 hours. Helming is a lot nicer though, because, well, actually helming is like terrible. We're just kind of seeing what works out, and it's pretty fun.
They gotta get ready. 2, 6. Now that we don't have use of an engine, how has it changed the way you feel about watch, being on the helm, having to be more accurate, doing more sail maneuvers, etc.?
It was a little intimidating at first. It requires a lot more effort and accuracy, like you said. But I think it's a really good learning lesson, and I think being thrust into it was good for all of us.
Well, oh, wait, there you
go. How have you felt about the additional sail handling we've done in the past few days since losing the prop?
This is what I signed up for. I came here to learn how to sail. I was totally enticed by this program because of the sail handling. I purposely picked this voyage because it had the most amount of sailing. So regardless of whether or not we were kind of forced into it, it's been amazing. I've learned quite a bit and perfected some skills in the last few days.
Yes, just right here. And one person's gonna push on the reef. Yeah, that first reef.
When you heard that we no longer had use of our engine, did you have any apprehensions, any questions that came to mind, any fears?
I was a little bit nervous when I realized that we no longer had an engine, we no longer had that backup. And then Tomer, our captain, said we are not a motorboat, we're a sailing vessel, which means the engine no longer being in use doesn't affect anything because we are primarily a sailboat. So I always had that security in the back of my head.
We have to see what the conditions are actually like when we're there. We can't commit to any plan right now. We're just going to be in the place at the right time. We do want to get everybody else on deck who is coming on deck. But just to start with, Khaki, let's get both gens on, both PTOs on, so we have bow thrusters as well. And then go ahead and move straight to the bow. We're not going to lower anchors out of the pocket. We're going to have it clutch open, brakes closed. When we get to the spot, we'll try starboard first, open the brake, smash it down with the big boat hook. Go ahead and take the big boat hook with you. If that doesn't work, we'll just open port and go down on hydros. That should drop it.
Anchor team, how's it going?
We're ready.
You ready?
Wet mouth over there with the big stick.
How are you guys feeling about dropping the anchor under sail power?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is this how we do it every time?
Yes, it is. No solos. Big dogs. Big dogs.
Yep, take the brake off.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm the current program manager aboard Argo. Myself, the rest of the staff, and all of the students are currently packing their things to move to our shoreside accommodations. We're going to be moving into an apartment or a set of 5 apartments in one apartment building out in Grand Bay that has 2 pools, washing machines, fridges, cold water, and all the other things that the students have been missing so dearly over the past 2 months, which softens the blow of having to leave Argo a little bit. We're also going to go dinghy sailing to give the students a chance to put all of their seamanship learning on our big boat into practice on little boats, which should be a total blast. And we'll do a beach day in Mauritius and just experience life as locals here.
So here we are on day 1 of Argo's shaft and propeller replacement. We are in Mauritius. Behind me is one of 2 of the largest travel lifts man has created, apparently. This is a 1,500 ton travel lift that's going to pull Argo out. Argo is behind me here, somewhere out in the harbor. We've been waiting for a tugboat for quite a long time, but we'll get started here shortly. For a little bit of scale on what a 1,500 ton 32 wheel lift looks like, that's what you got. Just back up to one of the tires here to give you a little overall scale of where I fit into the picture. So it's a big one. As I said before, apparently one of the 2 largest travel cranes in the world. Day 1 here in Mauritius on the ground done. Got back into the dock, or got into the dock. There's Argo right there. Didn't go as smooth as we wanted. Ended up with, sorry, just got to move around here. Ended up with some damage to the bowsprit, which was unnecessary, but when you're playing with big ship tugs, some things happen. So day 2 here in CNOI. Bright and early, the guys are getting in the water, trying to throw the boat up in the lift. And yeah, we've got the world's biggest travel lift coming around us right here.
So here's a quick look at the collateral damage. It didn't have to happen, but it's what happens when you play with big tugboats. If you look at the diagonal bit just over those tires, you see the bowsprit is bent up where it deflected off the dock. This won't be a big deal for the yard. It certainly didn't have to happen, but sometimes things happen. Okay, hauled out, ready to go. There's Argo in the background there. We're about to get it blocked and be able to climb in and start the process. Super efficient once we got the Port Authority out of being involved. The shipyard started at 7 and boat's out and ready to go. So these guys are super efficient. We're gonna notch the shaft, hopefully. So that's gonna be the next thing we decide on. And then the Bobstay damage that came along doesn't seem like it's gonna be too big a deal. So anyway, that's the update from about 10 o'clock a.m. We've taken the torque converter, which is that guy right there, and the torque converter mount plate. You can see the very end of the shaft is right here. It comes up in clamps in this taper with this plate. And we look over the back, we can see the sprocket for the get home motor and the seal. So right now we have all the space in the driveline that we can probably get. And we can release the shaft to move the shaft back. So the shaft is broken forward of the cutlass bearing. It looks like with a fracture. Okay, so here we go. It's coming to the end of Friday, and we have a hole in the back of the rudder, and I'm going to take you for a quick walkthrough on what they've done as they make a pass-through to allow the rudder shaft to be, or the propeller shaft to run through the rudder stock. We've got the propeller shaft remaining. We've notched a hole in the front of the rudder shaft that's hollow, goes right through the blade. They haven't quite finished the hole back here. We're going to be able to run the shaft straight through here. They're going to close it with a steel pipe, that one there, and make plugs on either side of it, so in the future we won't have to either pull the rudder or move the motor to do this job if we ever had to do it again. This, by the way, is what's left of the end of the shaft. So it appears that it was a clean break and a small twist. And then we lost it. Everything behind that. Best fitting the sleeve. This is the test shaft extending through what will be, this will actually be elliptical and be plated in. They're going to put the structure back in the rudder. So you can see they cut some structure out of the rudder. The rudder post itself is stainless steel, but the sheeting is mild steel and the framing inside. And then this is the exit in the front, the test shaft going into the old cutlass bearing. Looks like we got skewered now. But they made quick work of it. They just had to go to the dry dock for an emergency job, so they were supposed to work OT on it and have it tacked in today, but you're over the dry dock now, so let's head over to the machine shop to check on the shaft and propeller. Here on the table we have the old Max Prop hub and the new blades going together. And all the guts for a Max Prop feathering propeller. It's like some sort of puzzle. So in our settings for our prop, in our forward pit we have 18, in our reverse we have 2. That's what it looks like on the outside here. Those are adjustment screws that are fixed. And they drive the pitch. New Shaft City. There's the taper. We're just getting ready for thread. Here's the test taper they've made, just to set the machine up correctly. And I'm assuming that is the key. as well. This is what the original shaft diameter was that they made our shaft out of. Still have threads to do on the prop shaft, but the taper is finished. They're going to check the taper on the other material. That is the propeller hub right there. And we're preparing the key as well.
On Argo, we have one chef and 2 sous chefs create 3 meals every day for everyone on board. Now that we're living in apartments, our apartment kitchens aren't exactly large enough to carry out this same rotation on the job wheel. Instead, we're gonna have different apartments create different parts of the meal and bring it all together. For our first night in the apartment, myself and another staff member, Kaki, have decided to have a little fun with this and create a Master Chef challenge. So we've gone to the grocery store and made 4 provisioning bags of different ingredients that each group of students will compete in activities to choose blindly 1 bag of ingredients that then their apartment will be responsible for turning into a meal, presenting it to a panel of judges of the staff, and then we'll all come together and eat all 4 meals that were created as our dinner tonight. Kaki and I are hoping that the ingredients we chose make sense all together with whatever the students come up with, but if not, it'll be a ton of fun anyway. Whoa, what's this team doing? Talk me through your process.
No. No, it's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's gonna try it.
You'll like it.
I bet.
Do you like spiciness?
Whoa, cheese sauce. Are you guys gonna be melting this cheese?
Yes, you'll melt.
It will be melted by the heat of the leaves.
What's up, team?
Hey.
How's it going?
We're currently deciding on the shape of our chicken. It was frozen, so we had to de-thaw it, and we're deboning. Currently, we have a gas sauce over there, if you want to take a little sneak peek at that.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's going to be our batter for the chicken.
Whoa.
Chicken salad.
We have, I don't want to make you biased if you're a judge, but you can taste it if you're not.
I can't taste.
Okay.
And then onion cabbage salad that we're gonna put cilantro in, lime, cilantro, lime, and then we have chips on the side with our
Homemade
salsa
chips.
and our guac that's chilling in the freezer right now.
Nice.
And then presentable onions. Of
Yes,
course.
we have ginger ale to keep us company in our fancy wine glass, ginger ale or whatever that
With
is.
ice, with our ice cubes. There was ice in it. Look, we have ice, guys. Look at that.
I'm here to check in with the chefs. I see the work has been divided evenly. Got a little veg. Whoa, what are you guys cooking up?
Can't tell you. It's a secret.
Ah, that TVP! Whoa, that looks yummy.
Oh, it's a video.
Your belly, a burst of flavor. Protein and sauces, an amalgamation of a perfect dinner.
Mangoes and orange, combined with a special kick. Joyous excitement.
At the bottom of the plate, you will find a sauce of habanero pineapple salsa.
Yeah.
Alongside garlic aioli, mixed with a bit of salt and lime. On the side of the plate, some fresh lime to boot with onion.
I believe that you may have missed a portion of our design. You see, the bowl of wet food is the sun. And the beams of light, like we mentioned in the haiku,
or the peppers coming off of them, forming rivulets and shapes. And I believe you may have missed that in your deliberations.
The boys tipped over. No! Sails are powered up.
We had the brilliant idea of trying to race each other. We did it. It was going pretty well at first, and then all of a sudden, one of the cats, my cat, starts like bouncing down into the water. We're hitting some like different kind of waves, and then all of a sudden we completely capsized. But at the time, I was hooked into the trapeze system hanging out the side of the boat as a counterweight, and so when we capsized, I got thrown forward and then straight through the jib. I got whipped into the water, and I ripped a giant hole in the jib, and my other crewmates also got thrown off the boat. They didn't break anything like I did, but the management didn't seem to be too upset with us, so it was all good. We ended up just sailing the rest of the afternoon with only a mainsail.
Okay, here's the update after a sweaty morning inside and outside the boat. You can see that we now have a pass-through hull. Quite nice tight seams on it. They've already finished the welding on the front of the post. And just for perspective, we'll move back here. Show you what that sort of looks like with the helm all the way to starboard. We can now reach right in and drop the shaft in. So if I understand the engineer's idea, is he's going to put a cap in there. He's going to put a cap in there, and we will be able to access it as we need to, and probably cover it with fairing at some point in the future. Cutlass bearing installed. Did have to epoxy it in, as it was a millimeter smaller than it should have been. Not quite sure what happened there, but potentially a metric conversion. Not quite sure. Anyway, but this is the epoxy they put in, which means it'll be a little bit painful to get out next time. Okay, big day at CNOI. It's got to all happen today. It is Tuesday the 11th. Just did the final assembly on the propeller, and the keyway is being cut right now. We're headed to the boat to see that the Bobstay is being fitted and hopefully being polished. So we'll keep you posted throughout the day, but it's going to come together today. I feel solid about it. There it is, a 2-day Bobstay. So they took it off. We do have a size difference here. That is the size difference that we're going to step up, just because we had to use what they had in stock. It just needs to be polished, which is hopefully happening tomorrow. And then we will be good to go for an install Monday morning. New Bobstay in, better than new. A little bit of increase in diameter, but not at all apparent. And we sit in the straps. It was a little bit of a question about what they were going to cover the holes with on the rudder. They told me a couple different solutions, but finally we came to this fact that the gentleman is going to make an ellipse removable cover for the hole. So looking here at the machine shop table, we're looking at a disassembled version of our new propeller. Benoit putting the propeller together with grease and lots of care. First pass of the keyway cut on the shaft. This is eventually going to be a groove. Here we have the guys matching the keyway cut in the propeller to the exact one that was cut in the shaft. As we put the shaft on, you can see it be centered on the keyway that matches in the propeller shaft and the propeller. But we are strapped and ready to go. We've got a little bit of load on us, everything in place, lashed and ready. Just gotta get things ripping, get the propeller back in there. Just give a quick walk through to what's happened here. Do now have bottom paint on it. Not quite the same color, but we're gonna survive that. We have our cutlass bearing installed right there. course, we have our pass through here to push the shaft through tomorrow, which comes all the way through like this. And we are almost locked and loaded underneath the most gigantic travel lift. I guess one of two of the biggest on the planet. Now we're talking. This is how it's going to get done right here. New shaft, new propeller. New method to get inside the boat. Let's go. Well, we went. Unfortunately, I was inside the boat with nobody visiting on the outside, so while my hands were dirty and greasy accepting the shaft into the boat, the team here fitted the shaft and the propeller all in one go, and there you have it. We're done. We are launching right now. If you can hear background pings, that is the straps loosening. Look down here in the shaft. We are currently checking the shaft for a leak, which I don't see at this time. Looking pretty good. So yeah, we might have made this happen. So still have the torque converter to put in, which is right over here, and that's going to go into this space here. If you ever need to do this job, getting the flex coupler in here, this is the move. A balanced grab on it up to a fixed point up here between the exhaust and some overhead piping, and you can just lower it down because you've taken out the spacers at the front of the shaft here. It allows you to get onto the pins back here, which I've got in another video. So anyway, it's a fight. Au revoir. See you guys.
The engine's back on now. The propeller's been fixed. What is the greatest thing you learned while we had no propeller?
Greatest thing I learned about a propeller. I think the fact that this team is willing to take on any task thrown at us, like when we were all gathered and there had been little rumblings that we maybe didn't have a propeller, but when it was officially announced that we had no propeller, everybody was like, okay, on to the next thing. So it's really cool to see how none of us on this team freaked out. We're pretty much a family here at this point, and we just kept our family bonds strong and worked hard to get us to this lovely island, Mauritius, where we got 2 propellers now.
What was the best part about having no propeller?
The best part about having no propeller was probably all the sail handling and the sailing that we did. Because I feel like I learned like my most during the time we had no engine.
How was life with no propeller?
With no propeller and no wind, it was a bit more calm than usual. But at the end, when we started having wind again and we were approaching Mauritius, we did way more sail handling. That was really cool. I learned so much from that period. Tacking every 10 minutes is a challenge, and especially anchoring on sail. It was really fun, a bit stressful because we didn't really know what's gonna happen, but yeah, it was right there on the anchor. It was really fun. It felt like really special.
Were you nervous at all when you heard that we had no propeller?
Well, I totally trust Gabe and the staff, so I knew that they wouldn't do anything that could like damage the boat or hurt us. But yeah, I sailed before. I've never heard of that, anchoring on sail. So it was kind of stressful, especially when the sheets were flying everywhere over here. But I think it was really fun. I think everybody's gonna remember it.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. It's been now 2 months since we left Mauritius with a new propeller and a new shaft, and we arrived safely to Cape Town. You can see part of Table Mountain right behind us. Introducing Callum. I'm going to hand over the command of Argo to Callum that will take the next semester.
Thanks, Tomo. We'll be filming and releasing videos as we make our way across the Atlantic towards the Caribbean now. So please consider subscribing if you want to keep abreast of all of Argo's progress and all the exciting things that go on board along the way.
Subscribe.